Start up the queue. Irie, you want to start it up or Chief?
Yeah, I can start it up real quick. Yeah, definitely. Feast days are still required. It's still in full effect. We can see that in the scriptures, right? Most High told us to keep the Passover through our generation, right? And we're still having children, so we have to teach it to our children, um, and keep passing it on, right? But we know we're gonna get brothers and sisters from the other side, claiming that we don't have to do that anymore. But yeah, we definitely got to keep the Passover. We can see in the scriptures. We were in captivity during our first Passover, so uh, if they can keep it, then we can keep it today, right? And our ancestors kept it in worse condition, so we have to keep it going. But yeah, all praises to the Most High. With that, I'm gonna yield to Chief.
Chief, you there? He probably dealing with the pups. You go to
Shalom Israel, Yabba Shem Shabbat.
Yabashua Shabbat. Welcome to the stage, Andrew.
Shalom.
Hey, Elder Terah, you there? Or
I'm here.
Shalom.
hey, Shalom?
Shalom. Elder
Yeah.
Tavras in the building.
Shalom. 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 Going on out. Yeah, already.
Shalom, brother.
Shalom. Shalom. Already said it best, man. I already said it. You gotta keep the commandments. You gotta keep the Passover. You gotta keep the feast days. That's all part of what, was given to us, to the Spirit of Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Yahushai, to Moses, by Shah. So, yeah, you gotta keep these days. You know what I mean? It can't be partial when you're dealing with the scriptures. You gotta keep the whole scriptures. You know what I mean? The Passover was supposed to be from generation to generation. So, definitely got to keep the high holy days. Like you say, I know we're going to have some bug outs. Let's go. Let's go. Because you got to keep these days. Shalom.
Shalom.
God, Salakia. Yeah, the feast days is part of our culture. If you don't keep the feast days, besides the fringes and the laws, the other laws, what is the what becomes our culture, ceremonial cultures in the eyes of the heathen? If we're supposed to be a light to the Gentiles, when they see us celebrate and they see us honor our feast, our high holy days and our feast days, and it's not what Western America promotes on us, it shows that we're set apart. While they're celebrating Christmas, we're celebrating Hanukkah. While they're celebrating, Thanksgiving, we're celebrating what's during that time. Whether it's new moons, during Easter, they celebrate Easter, we celebrate Passover. So that in itself is set apart. It's a set apart ceremony. It's a set apart culture from this Babylonian culture, from this Egyptian, spiritual Egyptian culture, from this Sodom and Gomorrah culture. So that's a big, huge set apart culture of ours, all these feast days. So hopefully that resonates, because you're not set apart if you have no feast days and no high holy days. And if you gotta wait till you're in Israel and Jerusalem to do it, you obviously are not shining your light. Now you
Khan, Chief. Yeah, I know Amos 521 is going to come out a few times today. Ariala, what's going on, King, man? What you got to say about the topic, man?
Shalom, family. Of course you got to keep the feast days. Obviously it's part of the law, you know. And if you're claiming to be quote unquote in the truth, and we know that the truth is the law. In the words of Yahweh Shai, we're supposed to walk in his footsteps. He kept the feast days, so you're not in the truth if you're not keeping the feast days. These are major things that the Lord gave us, right? And it's for our enjoyment, right? We're supposed to enjoy congregating with one another because all the commandments teach us how to be family. You know what I mean? Like loving your brother, understanding that the man that lives right down the street, he may not have came out of the loins of your father or the womb of your mother, right? But he's still your brother because he's the children of your people. When you congregate with them and you love them as you love yourself, that creates camaraderie, that creates family, that keeps us as a tight unit. Because at the core of it, we are a family. We started off as 12 sons. You know what I mean? So we're a family. We have, the Lord gave us these holidays, these holy days, so that we can congregate and enjoy each other's presence and enjoy serving the Lord. So you absolutely have to keep the feast days. If you feel like we don't need to keep the feast days or we can't keep the feast days, you're wicked. All right, and you will find every excuse to do the lust of your own desires. But with that, I yield.
Khan, great point, great point. Hey, Sister RT, what you got to bring up about the topic?
Well, yes, we should still follow our feast days. We're supposed to practice the righteous acts. So I don't see where there's any question on why we should or should we.
Khan, all praises, all praises. Hey, Elder Macabre, you see the topic? What you got to add?
Uh, well, there's really not much to add that anybody hasn't said here. You know, I will say this though. What cracks me up about the people who say that Christ did away with the feast days, they definitely sit up there and uh, um, celebrate pagan days, and it's not hard to know that those days are pagan days, and you would rather celebrate something that you know is against the Most High, and instead of celebrating the days that He put aside for us. I'm here to tell you that you know the party don't stop with Israel, baby. I'm telling you, man. It just our new moons alone, man, will shut down all of these worldly holidays, man, and that's not even going into the mandatory days. So yes, obviously, rehearse the righteous acts, man. This is a part of the law, and you claim to be a Christian. Well, the Mashiach celebrated every feast day, and you're not. There's something wrong with that. No, yeah.
Hey, Elder, isn't it amazing that they can't celebrate the days that they're supposed to actually celebrate, but they can celebrate pagan holidays easily without a problem? Isn't that
God,
amazing?
God, that amazes me that they'll sit there and it's no excuse nowadays, right? I mean, everybody got a smartphone. You can go and look up the origins right at the palm of your hand of all of these feast days that the world provides for you, and you'll sit there and fight for them because of tradition instead of going and doing what Christ did, what Yahweh Shai, you know what I'm saying, and Yahweh put aside for us to honor, him and our culture, like the chief said. It's amazing to me, that I even have to sit here and argue with jokers. But you go ahead, man. We about to do a new moon right now. Enjoy.
All praises, man. Yeah, I think they just hate the Most High, man. They just want to be defiant.
God.
Hey, Shalom, priest, welcome to the stage. Yeah, that's your Shabbat.
Yeah,
Uh,
about Shemya Shabbat priest.
Shalom, yo, Bashim, yo, Shabbat. If there's any way you guys could move me away from being next to Macabre, I don't mess with Macabre. Just want y'all to know that.
God.
We gotta do something about that.
You better stop that, priest.
I know I love the elder, but you know why I don't. You know why I don't mess with him right now. Um,
Yo,
yeah.
man, you know
So
I love you, King. Stop that.
all praises. God.
All praise.
So, just to the topic of the room, and I'll be very brief. Of course, we have to keep the holy days, and No Christian world, Romans 14:1 and 2, and Colossians 2:16 are not telling you you don't have to keep holy days. There is a greater understanding, and the one they specifically use is Colossians 2:16. That whole team of reprobates that left y'all camp and my camp, what is it, 2 years ago, tried to use Colossians 2:16. Those scriptures are not saying you don't have to keep the holy days, but we're going to keep that in our back pocket. And we're going to look at that scripture in context when one of the Christians try to pull it out. Yes, we must still keep the law, and in the laws are the holy days. Period, point blank. That's it.
Yeah, don't forget Amos 5:21, Elder.
Okay.
God. Hey, Dawah Shalom King. You see the topic? What you got to add to the build? Shalom. Floor is yours.
Well, just like everybody said, if you're keeping the commandments, you should be keeping these holy days. I mean, I know it's hard for certain people with jobs or whatever. If special days land on certain days, you can't just call off or whatnot. But I feel like the Passover is one of those days that should be no excuse. You know, we just got to keep these laws and try our best to keep these days as well.
Khan. All praises, man. Hey, Abner, Shalom. Welcome to the stage. You see the topic. You're here in the build. What you got to add?
Shalom. I mean, I told,
Shalom.
like, prime example today, even though I work, when any of the high holidays come about, I take off work. And it's a scripture that always comes to my mind when I think about it. Acts chapter 5, verse 29. I'm about to bring that out. It says, "Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey God rather than man."
Khan. Definitely got to obey God rather than man. Hey, Michael, welcome to the stage. You see the topic. You're here to build. What you got to add to the conversation? And Shalom King.
Shalom, everyone. As far as the topic goes, yes, feast days are definitely required. Um, I'm definitely new in regards to keeping up the feast days. It took me a little bit longer to build my foundation up spiritually. So I'm just getting into the feast days. I did my first Passover last year. I was alone for that, but I did follow the script, made sure I had my lamb, my bitter herbs, my wine, and I'm just watching you brothers on YouTube just to kind of be part of it last year. I'm really on this stage today just to give a testimony, but of course I can hold until everybody go.
Yeah, Khan. Actually, yeah, we do want to hear that. So, I just got a couple more people. Then we're gonna come right back to you, Sister Lakeisha. Shalom. Welcome to the stage. You see the topic. You're here to build. What do you got to add to the conversation, sis?
Shalom, brothers.
Shalom.
Of course, it's in the Torah that you have to celebrate the high holy days. So that's a hands down. So this is my first one though. So I did have questions, but just like the brother, I can wait till after you guys are finished with everybody else.
Khan. We can definitely get into the questions. That's kind of why we set up rooms like this. Because sometimes we want to go back to the basics, right? Because there's some people in our nation, as the Passover is coming up, they don't know, how to keep it, what to do. So hopefully we can go through the scriptures today and edify the nation. Also, if you're in the audience and you do have questions on how to keep the Passover, right? Raise your hand, come up to the stage. Most High will have a teacher up here to help break it down for you and give you the understanding on it. All right. The purpose of this room again is to teach our people that we are to keep these feast days. They are extremely important. It is part of the law, right? And our job is to make sure that Israel is aware of this and have the understanding on how to do it. But all praises, Sister Tamara. You see the Tamara. You see the topic. You hear the conversation. What you got to add to it? Shalom, sis.
Shalom, family. Yabashim Yashabarakata Shematam. Khan, I see the topic. I see the topic. Yes, we are supposed to continuously keep this the feast days until it's a rehearsal. So we're supposed to be doing it without wavering, without complaining, without making excuses. Christ kept it. The apostles kept it. So we are supposed to keep it. If I can get somebody to please, Baba Kushar, read First Corinthians 11. We can take it from 24 and probably run it down to 26. Baba Kushar, the writer.
You said First Corinthians 24 and 26.
Khan, and if you can go ahead and break it down for me, Baba Kushar.
First Corinthians 11:24. And when he had given thanks, he brake it and said, "Take, eat. This is my body, which is broken for you. This do in remembrance of me." Verse 25. After the same manner, also he took the cup, and when he had supped, saying, "This cup is the New Testament in my blood. This do ye as oft as ye drink it in remembrance of me." Verse 25, 26. For as often as ye eat this bread and drink this cup, ye do show the Lord's death till he come. Uh, Khan, all praises. We know.
Khan, go
Go ahead.
ahead. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, we know that's not literal. This is just talking. Um, this is an act we took practice to do in remembrance of Yahweh, right? And even with the feast days, when you really get into it, a lot of it is, all obviously we know it's about us keeping the laws and the commandments that was given to us, but also it's another way for us to, gather together as a nation, right? And also to do this in remembrance of what the Most High did for us, right? How he brought us out of captivity in the land of Egypt, right? So a lot of times when we get into this feast days, there's a lot to it, obviously, more than what I'm saying, but that's really primarily what it's about, right? So when you get, a lot of times the Most High will do certain things for you to remember him, right? And for you to still have that fear within you so you don't go off. A lot of times when our people teach you to not keep the feast days, not keep the law, basically they're telling you not to even fear the Lord, right? Forget what he has done for us, right? So, yeah, we got to be very careful when we allow certain people to teach a certain doctrine and certain breakdowns when it comes to the scriptures. So if Yahushua kept the feast days, if he practiced and kept the laws, guess what? We have to do it also, right? We have to
Salak.
keep the laws. But go ahead, Ariella.
Oh yeah, Salak. Yeah. No, which gospel was that read from? Was that Matthew or was it
It was not. No, it was
I
First
was
Corinthians 11.
it was
First
where?
Corinthians.
First
First Corinthians.
Corinthians 11.
Yeah, I think it matches that one in Luke too. Yes.
So yeah, Yahushua, right, in the Gospels, you know, bade the disciples to keep the Passover in remembrance of him, right? And here we have Paul, who's also a disciple and apostle of Mashiach Yahushua, telling us to keep the feast days in remembrance of him. It said till he come, right, Ari?
Khan.
So now we got to think about this, right? Yahweh Shai already prophesied in Matthew the 24th chapter that, in Luke the 21st chapter, that the temple was going to be destroyed. But we see here in Luke the 22nd chapter that Yahweh Shai is telling us to keep the Passover in remembrance of him, and the same thing in the other Gospels. So why would he tell us to keep the Passover in remembrance of him, knowing that the temple is going to be destroyed? Because people will play a game and say, "You see, you can't offer a sacrifice where the Lord didn't place his name." And the thing is, we're not engaging in Levitical sacrifices, right? We're not. There's tons of stuff that goes into that, and none of these guys know it, right? Because they're not Levites, first and foremost. But secondly, you know, we're not doing that, right? And even so, the Passover, you're supposed to kill the Passover in your gates, in your house, right? And do it for your family. Our first Passover was kept where? In Egypt. The next 40 Passovers, Salakia, were kept in the wilderness. So this is the hypocrisy and the idiocracy that comes from some of our people who just don't want to do what the Lord told them to do. Right? They're going out trying to establish their own righteousness. Right? And a lot of these guys who spout this are non-messianic in the first place. Right? So it's very problematic. Like Yahweh Shai would not have told us to keep the Passover in remembrance of him if we knowing that the temple is going to be destroyed if we can't keep the Passover or keep feast days, without a temple. That just does not make sense. And with that, I yield.
That's a great point, Ariel. The water for that, man. Yeah, they'll make up any excuses, man, to not keep it. But like I was saying earlier with the Elder Macabre, it's amazing how they will keep Christmas, Easter, 4th of July. They'll keep every other pagan holiday, right? But when it comes to the feast days, for some reason that's done away with. We don't have to do that. It's too hard to do, right? But all praises to the Most High, right? He's revealed the truth to his servants out here, right? And the word is being brought out, right? So, but let's go to Brother Gabriel. Brother Gabriel, Shalom, welcome to the stage. You see the topic, you hear the bill. What you got to
Peace, Kings. I just wanted to bring out the scripture, Exodus chapter 31, verse 13. If somebody can grab that,
add? Which one do you want? Exodus what?
the 31, verse 13.
I got you, King. Exodus chapter 31 and verse 13. Speak thou also unto the children of Israel, saying, Verily, my Sabbaths ye shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that ye may know that I am the Lord that doth sanctify you.
So these Sabbaths, these feast days of ours, man, they are a sign between us and the Most High that He is the one that sanctifies us. That He's the one, that He's our God. He's our Lord. He's our power. So if you try to take that away and you don't want to keep these, that basically is saying to Him that you're not His. You don't worship Him. Because when you go into worshiping on these other days, you keeping these pagan days, that's idolatry. You basically worshiping these other idols that these nations have set up, and they use like Christmas and all these other holidays are they ways of worshiping their God, satanic worship. But these feast days, this is way we show that we honor and sanctified by the Most High. So you take that away, then you basically just serving Satan, and that goes back into like the mark of the beast and all that. A lot of people be worried about what the mark of the beast is. We need to be worried about what the mark of the Most High is. How you know you got the mark of the Most High? And that's why it says, these are a sign. It's a sign between you and Him. So I just wanted to make that point, and I'll land my plane.
All praises, man. Great point. Just like I brought out earlier, how do you know that you're serving him, right? And again, we got to remember a lot of these feast days are in remembrance of certain things that happened in the past, right? And not only that, it's just commandments that we have to keep. It's that simple, right? But let's go ahead and go into the queue. Next on the queue, hey, brother Amaf, welcome to the stage. Shalom. You see the topic, you hear the build. What do you got to add?
Shalom. I just want to ask a clarifying question, something I've been wondering about. Okay, so we know there is a Sabbath that's holy on the seventh day, and we have feast days. Are the other feast days considered like a type of Sabbath, like maybe like a lesser Sabbath than a 7-day Sabbath?
It's not a lesser Sabbath. It's a special.
Mouth. You said lesser Sabbath.
Yeah, that's just kind of like I guess the way I kind of expressed it. But like on the Sabbath, certain things you cannot do on the Sabbath day, the 7 day Sabbath day. That's what I mean. So when I say lesser Sabbath, I'm not saying it's lesser in importance, but just kind of how it came out or how I expressed it.
It's
Um, I'm just trying to figure out, okay, because like the brother just brought out the scripture about the Sabbath, right, in Exodus. And it says you should keep your. Because I've been trying to pull a scripture that says specifically for like the Passover and stuff that you can also keep them throughout your dwellings as well. Um, to kind of back up that you don't have to be in the land to keep the other feast days. So I just want to know or what they consider like a lesser Sabbath, for lack of better words.
well, the
It's just how
Sabbath.
it came out.
Well, the
That's all
Passover
it
is
is.
not a Sabbath, brother. It's a feast day, right? What we see in the Torah, we have Shabbat, which is Sabbath, right? Your regular weekly Sabbath, right? And then you have Shabbat Wan, which is a special Sabbath. So the Day of Atonement is a Shabbat Wan. The Feast of Unleavened Bread on the first and the last day, those are Shabbat Wan, special Sabbaths. Um, Same thing with the Feast of Tabernacles, the first and last day of those days. That feast is a Shabbat one. So it's a special Sabbath. It's not a lesser Sabbath. They're just as important. They're Sabbaths, and there's certain things you don't do on them, but they're special. So there's a difference.
Okay, so you just use the word the adjective special versus lesser. Yeah, it just Salaki, it just kind of came out wrong. But I'm right there with you, brother.
Con.
Salakia.
Shalak, yeah,
I,
and just to land me back, remember the Sabbath day is a set apart day, right?
Okay,
So
Khan.
that is your set apart day. You know what I'm saying? And when you go into Leviticus 23, the holy convocations, all those are also set apart days. The new moon is a set apart day. Feast of Unleavened Bread, the tabernacles. You know what I'm saying? These are set apart days. You know what I'm saying, King? So ain't about a lesser Sabbath or a higher Sabbath. It's about holy days. You know what I'm saying? Set apart days, regular days.
Khan. Okay, so that's I guess like I said, just how I try to express the idea came out wrong. But yeah, that's kind of like the gist of what I was asking. Both of your brother, you and Ariella, kind of bring a little clarity to it. As far as being like a special day or set apart day. So it is special because it's set apart, right? And that makes a lot of sense. So when we can go to a scripture like a brother just brought out, Exodus 31 and 13, to show that when it says throughout your generations, that's not based because the Sabbath was given to the people to keep. So that means wherever the people go, they got to keep it. Doesn't matter if you're still in the land or not. And that's the kind of point I was just trying to get at as well. So that's an excellent precept the brother just brought out to show that when it says throughout your generations or throughout your dwellings, that means wherever you go because you got to keep it. It's not based on your location. With that, I yield.
Khan,
uh,
Salakia, Mouth. It was just, I guess it was the way it came out. I'm sorry, man. I wasn't laughing at you, King. I don't want you to think so. All right.
Yeah, you are good, brother.
Forgive me for that. But
Some of us got that gift of gab. Some of us kind of got to like slow it down and try to get the idea out some kind of way. So,
nah, man.
uh,
Trust me. I'm there with you. I struggle with that, man.
uh,
I appreciate
Salakia.
it. Yeah, go ahead, Gabriel.
I just want to make a point. So when it comes to the differences between the Sabbaths and the Sabbath wands, just remember your Sabbath wands is the days where you kind of got like there's special requirements like cooking and stuff that you got to do for them days that you normally wouldn't kind of do on the regular Sabbath. So that's kind of what also set it apart.
uh,
Well, not necessarily. So, like for instance, the first day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, right, is a Sabbath, right, and when we look at what happens with Christ's crucifixion, he dies on the 14th day, which is Passover. Again, Passover is not a Sabbath, right? But the next day is a Sabbath. So when we see him being taken down, all right, they're trying to take him down before the sun went down because it would be considered work, things of that nature. But it was called the preparation day. So the Passover, right? You keep the Passover at evening, right? You kill the lamb at evening. You keep the feast. You burn whatever you don't eat before the morning comes, right? Then the morning comes. That's still part of that 14th day, and that's your preparation day for. That's your preparation for the first day of the feast of unleavened bread. So you shouldn't be doing any cooking on the first day of the feast of unleavened bread. You should be doing that the day prior, which is the
Con,
14th day of the Passover.
I'm not saying you should be cooking. I'm not saying I was just using cooking just like an example. But each of them days kind of got their own things that you have to go into that law on what that feast day is and see. Okay, what am I actually supposed to be doing?
Yeah, yeah. So
It's
like for
And
a lot.
and
Yeah.
specific to
the
that, for
priest,
instance, like the Day of Atonement, you're not supposed to eat or drink. You're supposed to be.
yeah,
It's a feast day where a feast day we're supposed to be merry and eat. But on that specific feast day, we're not eating or drinking anything. The requirement for that one is that we actually fast.
yeah. Well,
You
it's
know,
technically not a feast day
so
because you're not feasting. It's a high holy day. It's not a feast day,
right,
Day of
right.
Atonement. But when we're looking at the first day of the Day of Unleavened Bread, right? You're supposed to give a sacrifice, right? Let's say we're back in our land, right? And we have a temple, we have a Levitical priesthood in order, and they're doing their services. Yahweh Shah taught us that that the priests, quote unquote, profane the Sabbath each week. You know what I mean? Because they are the only ones that can be get kindling fires, all right, cooking, doing those things, doing the service of the Lord in the temple. Now, if you're a priest and it's not your week or your time to be at the temple because there's shifts the way that works, right? The priest had shifts, so a priest would be in his course, all right. He would do his job, right? He would come to the temple for whatever amount of time, and then he'll go back home. Things of that nature, right? So when he's back home, he's not profaning the Sabbath day in his home. It's only when he's in the temple, when he's doing the service of the Lord, where he's quote unquote profaning the Sabbath day in that manner, right? But that's not for everybody. We're all not Levitical priests and can do these things. You see what I mean? There's a big difference.
Salakia, technically, we are under the order of Melchizedek. So, a brother under the order of Melchizedek can do priestly duties like hold the Passover for his family.
Yeah, but I understand that, but the Passover is not a Sabbath day, so you wouldn't be profaning anything.
Khan. And also, for the Feast of Unleavened Bread, yeah, if you run out of leavened bread, you do have to bake more unleavened cakes, right? So nobody get, over righteous because, the 7 days of unleavened bread, you do have to eat unleavened bread 7 days. So nobody get over righteous and say like, oh, I don't want to profane nothing. Like he said, you're not really profaning anything, but nobody get over righteous said, I don't want to profane nothing, so I'm not going to cook more unleavened cakes. Like, don't nobody fall into that. You know what I'm saying? The feast of unleavened bread is about baking unleavened cakes. So don't confuse yourself because like brothers say you don't want to profane nothing. It's still a feast day, right? And a holy convocation.
Con, all praises, man.
Lucky, real quick. Just
Yeah,
kind
go
of
ahead.
a question here, just to further clarify. So, all right, we got the Passover. We're required to eat the lamb and the bitter herb and unleavened bread with that. Then what you're saying is after that, the feast of unleavened bread, you have to eat unleavened bread every day. Now, after the Passover, doesn't really matter what type of meat you eat, as long as obviously it's a clean meat. But outside of that, is that correct? Just to make sure for clarification's sake, you can eat any meat with your unleavened bread after the Passover, doing the feast of unleavened bread. Is that correct?
Yeah, as long as it's a clean meat. You know what I'm saying? I
Uh,
do roti. You know what I'm saying? I either do the homemade roti or I go to a Benjamin spot where I know they don't use no leaven at all in their roti, right? And I do the roti with a clean meat, probably like some curry goat. You know what I'm saying? Or something like that. So, as long as it's a clean meat. Or
Con.
I do the basmati rice with some salmon. You know what I'm saying? So as long as you're not,
Con.
you know what I'm saying, with a piece of unleavened bread on the side. So you could switch up the meats. It doesn't have to be lamb every single day, but as long as it's unleavened bread with the meal.
And also for clarification too. Again, I'm asking questions that come to my mind, and maybe help somebody in the audience as well. Um, what we call burritos today, isn't that by default considered unleavened bread?
For the most part, but you definitely got to ask because sometimes they'll still put leaven in certain
Yeah,
flat.
yeah.
Okay, so you
Sometimes
got to read the
they
label
put
on
the
the
meat.
burrito.
Yeah,
Yeah, your best bet for unleavened bread for Passover is to get regular corn tortillas. You're gonna be fine. Corn tortillas. All right, make some little lamb tacos. Put a little bit of herb in there, and you'll be good. You'll be good.
Con. Or some chili and salsa.
I wouldn't put salsa. That's not bitter herb.
Well, doing a feast on unleavened bread, you have to eat bitter herb every day, or is it just for the Passover you got to eat the bitter herb?
Just for the Passover, you got to eat unleavened bread for the
Oh
whole
yeah.
week.
I,
So
I
each.
still throw the bit of herb during the week though because
Oh yeah, definitely. You definitely can. But I'm saying you
What
don't have to.
now you don't
What's the
have.
best tasting bitter herb? Because horseradish is, I'm not gonna call it that, but
You sound soft, brother.
Yeah, man. Horseradish is for men.
oh,
Not.
I done had it, but I ain't got to prove I'm a man. You know,
hey, I'm not,
hey,
I'm
I'm
not,
cool.
I'm not gonna get spinach, man, and call that bitter herb.
Like
hey,
here,
hey,
listen, kale and lettuce shouldn't be on you as your substitute as bitter herbs. If you're
hey,
doing that, just put a head wrap on and put a dress on.
man,
Don't eat that
all I'm
damn
saying
thing.
is there's a variety of bitter herbs. Horseradish is not the only one. That's why I just want to know what the other options are. That's all I'm doing, brother. Yeah, funny.
You can try arugula. That's bitter. It's a
So
herb.
horseradish reminds you of that rigor captivity. That's the point. You see what I'm saying? That's what it's supposed to
Uh,
remind you of. When you eat stuff that's not like that, you're not thinking about regular captivity. That was like the captivity of judges. That doesn't count.
Yeah, like that man down there. That man down there named Mafio. He stay looking to cut corners, man. He be on his Judite shit.
Hey, hey.
I ain't cutting no corners, man. Hey, you know the scriptures. It don't say you gotta eat a specific bitter herb. It just says bitter herb. All I'm saying is there's variety when you look up bitter herbs. So I'm
Romaine
just wondering,
lettuce. Romaine lettuce they consider bitter herb. You gonna eat that?
um, if it's considered a bitter herb, it meets the requirement. That's all I'm saying.
This
Nah,
nigga
so
scared.
I didn't have
That nigga
horseradish, dog.
scared.
That horseradish stuff is like it's way out there, man. Like what
Yo,
the hell?
move this man off the stage, all right?
Yo, horseradish is first and foremost. Horseradish is it tastes good, and it helps with the digestion of the meat. Like that's what. Like the Lord didn't just give us these instructions just for the hell of it. You know what I mean? Like even with like the whole mixed fabrics thing, I saw a video a while back, and basically different materials have like they promote a certain flow of energy, right? So when you mix fabrics, it actually doesn't allow that to happen, and it can be unhealthy for you. So the Lord told us not to wear mixed fabrics for a reason. Like it is a scientific reason why He told us not to do it. There's a scientific reason why He told us not to eat pork, right? So people always get into the why, the why. Just do it because He told you to, right? And even when we're looking at the bitter herb helps digest that meat better in your stomach. So it's important.
Yeah, that's why Ariala. That's why when the Lord said, supposed to eat the lamb and leave none till the morning. And if you do, you got to burn it. You're gonna be eating all that lamb all night because you don't really want to waste it and burn it in the morning. So how you gonna digest all that meat? You got to eat that bitter herb with it.
Con.
right. We don't know more than the Most High, man. We gotta stop playing this game. Trying to take all kind of shortcuts. But I'm off. It's all love, man. If the water for your input, we really appreciate it. Obviously, you can stay on stage. All right, so we're gonna go to Sister Judah Princess, then we're gonna go to Brother Michael and Sister Lakeisha because I know they had other points to bring out. Sister Judah, Shalom, welcome to the stage. You see the topic. What do you got to add to the bill? Go ahead, sis.
Oh, yeah, Shalom. We do have to keep the feast days, and I'm actually new to the truth. And I'm hearing you speaking about the feast, and I was wondering what would it be a bitter herb? Can you drink tea, like what's it called, milk tea, dandelion? Is that considered eaten as if you drink it?
No, you have to eat bitter herb, not drink it. So dandelion greens would be a bitter herb, right? Radicchio would be a bitter herb.
Ginger.
Endives would be a bitter herb. Arugula, bitter herb. Horseradish, bitter herb. There's tons of bitter
Ginger.
herb. You have to eat it.
Ginger too. You know what I'm saying? I'll be going for ginger for the win. You know what I'm saying? I'm Benjamin. I do the ginger anyway. But yeah, everything else Ariala said is a bit of herb too. But during the Passover week, man, y'all don't run away from that horseradish, man. We got to remember the rigorous captivity of Egypt, man. Don't run away from the horseradish.
I still like you. I get what you're saying, but hey, we get reminded every day of this bitter captivity. Like, I don't think I need a herb to remind me of how bitter this sucker is. We still gotta go to work. We still gotta pay bills. Still gotta deal with the stresses of dealing with all these other nations being taken advantage of, all this and that. So
Damn,
I'm
this
just,
guy really doesn't like horseradish.
Yo, he might as well just collect eggs
oh, stop
and
it!
celebrate
Don't
Easter.
jump on me, man.
Let him celebrate Easter, man.
He started bringing up this.
Easter. You
He
see how they
started
do it? See how
bringing
the
up the
rules get on
feast
me, y'all.
day.
Nah,
Hey,
man.
I done had horseradish, and actually, when I had it, I ate more than a lot of other people. But it's rough. I'm just telling you, it's woo.
Mark, what
It's
can I
not
say?
even yo. It's it all. See, this is the thing about horseradish. It's not spicy or anything like that. Like it like clears up your sinuses. A
Right.
lot of
It
niggas
will
eat
fill your sinuses up.
horseradish.
Come.
A lot of brothers need to eat some damn horseradish. All right, on a daily.
But ginger does the same thing and tastes better, and it's still considered a bitter herb.
Listen, no, listen, ginger, raw ginger don't taste good. Like, all right, it don't taste good at all. Horseradish is way better than ginger.
Yeah,
This
clear up
guy's new
some
name
of
is
those
Hussein
mucus.
Bolt.
Garlic too. Garlic. You could do the garlic too.
We have a leaf in Nigeria called bitter leaf. You need to taste that one. Then you won't even
Yeah,
complain about
that's way
horseradish.
worse than horseradish.
I've heard of that.
Right.
Way worse, man. We talk about a whole day. Your mouth tastes bitter, man.
God.
But this guy, his
But
new
bitter
name
things
is
are good for
Hussein
you.
Bolt. He running real fast on that horseradish.
Now, but here's the thing: bitter things are good for you. Like we here in America, all right. The Lord said that we're gonna eat the foul bread amongst the Gentiles. We're accustomed to have eating a lot of sweets. You know what I mean? Like even if you look at like breakfast in America, what's typical? When you think about breakfast, you think about pancakes, waffles, shit like
With
that, right?
with syrup all over it.
Yeah, a bunch of sweet stuff, right? When you go to Jamaica, you go to these different countries, they don't eat sweet things for breakfast. That's like not really a thing. So when you look at like our diet is terrible. Like even with the meat, like we eat too much meat. Like back in the day, if you wanted a damn cheeseburger, right, you would have to slaughter a cow and cut it up into its different parts and then grind that up and then make a burger if you wanted to, right? If you wanted some chicken, right, you would have to kill a certain amount of chickens, all right, and cut it up into its different parts. You weren't able to go to a grocery store and get a pack of Purdue chicken wings. That wasn't a thing. So we're too accustomed to this lifestyle here in Babylon, and we don't eat enough bitter things. Having bitter things in your diet is very important for your health and balance. So stop running away from the bitter herbs and the bitter things in life. Like even tea should be certain teas need to be bitter. Like you go to Jamaica, they have something called what's that John called Cersei. Right? If you ever had Cersei, all right, it's health. It's good for your blood. Like it helps thin out your blood if you have high blood pressure and things of that nature. Like it's very good for you. It tastes terrible. It tastes like death, but medicine's not supposed to taste good. You know what I mean? And we got way too many sicknesses from being here in Babylon and having diets where we were not, being in line with what the Lord told us to do, right? We don't all have pork. We don't all have, shrimp, crab, and lobster, right? And those things have negative effects on our bodies. So now coming into the truth, right? It's important that we take heed to the Lord's dietary laws, and even when it comes to the feast days and keeping the Passover, that bitter herb, that is important, very very important.
Con, I agree. For health purposes, at the end of the day, healthy tastes better than being unhealthy. So you're exactly right in everything you said. Hey,
Amen.
Shane, I guess I'll chalk it on up and give me some horse rides just to prove you guys. I might take a picture every day to show you that I had some horse rides this year.
I actually need to see a video and dates and all of that, man. I don't know, man. You running hard.
No, I
The
wouldn't do
time
that.
stamps, huh?
See, I'd be being deceptive. That would be me not keeping
That
commandments. So, like,
that
no,
that
that would be that.
that man about to copy and paste and then do some editing on that.
You about to do the C Nice Productions, huh?
Macau with the
Come
timestamp.
on, bro. All praises. All right, so we're gonna go to brother Michael and sister Lakeisha. Brother Michael, yeah, the floor is yours. I know you said you had a testimony you want to share. Go ahead, King.
All right, appreciate you. And I never had horseradish, so I'm gonna have to give that a shot. Definitely have to give that a shot. Um, and this is a testimony, so it may sound like rough for some in the beginning, but obviously it's a happy ending because I'm still here. So all praise to the Most High Yahweh for that.
Shalom.
Shalom, shalom. So a couple days ago, so Sunday night, I was sleeping in the bed, and gunshots burst through my apartment. 2 shots in my headboard, and at the time I didn't know it was 2 shots. I just heard the one pop, right above my head, right. So of course, go through the whole thing, call, get the police and everything. They're already outside. I had to stay outside the apartment for a few hours. This is late night, and so basically they found it, and you already know who's out there popping shots, randomly as he saw. Our folks don't got time to be wasting bullets, So they arrested this person, So basically this is the apartment, next to mine, sharing a wall with me. So apparently this person, raged up, why do the heathen rage, right? Raged up, firing shots. And they said he shot about 5 rounds out. Like the rest were just like outside, went outside the apartment, but 2 landed in my wall, in my headboard. And of course, I'm gonna figure out how to change my profile picture if I can show you for proof. But nevertheless, though, like I already knew because I've been on this spiritual journey for a while. I'm still ever learning. That's why I'm always on Clubhouse, which has been great, help me get through work and everything. So I just kind of stay in the background, just listen to you guys. I'm not here for any kind of clout or get attention or anything like that. My spirit don't run that way. So I do appreciate you allowing me the time to share this testimony. So I do understand that everything happens for a reason. That Most High has a plan for everybody's life. The question is, are we paying attention? Or are we seeing signs? So I'm not gonna get into my whole life story, but I'll just say that the Lord has always been showing me things because there's been plenty of times I can look back and say I shouldn't be here. This is probably the biggest one, right? Outside of my time in the military. So needless to say, as far as nervousness and things like that, I didn't have none of those emotions. Maybe it's the military. I had a calm about me, so I wasn't really freaked out about it. I just count your blessings. But an interesting thing outside of knowing that I'm here today with 2 shots, the second shot wasn't found until the police was actually in my apartment to kind of take the forensics and everything. Then they discovered the second gunshot in another part of the headboard. Another interesting thing was last week I caught this crazy pain like in my lower spine, my tailbone. Didn't know where it came from, how it could have happened. I just